Today's event has been fantastic. We've had a really good turnout. We'd encourage lots and lots of more young people to take part in the next few workshops that are coming up. But today's and Hamara's last week's workshop at Hamara was a really good learning curve for us. We learned about young people's views. We learned that they want to talk and want to discuss things with us. We learned that giving them an opportunity to engage with discussions is a way of having them open up to us. We learned so many things about their views and so many things about where they want the future work with young Muslims to go.
If we didn't have, I think, like open dialogue and discussions with different people, different generations, and because we have such a large gap between like 16 to 35, we can get a really good range of people. And you're able to talk about issues such as identity and education and things that are really inherent in everyone's lifestyle. So I think that without speaking about it, there would be no way of like progression in those areas.
Do you feel like you sometimes have to compromise your part of your identity because of living in Britain or just, you know, anything? So it's like, do you feel like you have to compromise your identity or your religion based on British values or things like that? So for example, let's say you're going out for a work do and they go to a pub. Do you feel like you have to be strong and say, no, I don't want to do that? Or would you directly explain to somebody why you can't do something? Or would you be comfortable in that environment?
Yeah, I think I'm quite comfortable, I'd be able to explain. If I didn't, I'd just say straight no.
Say someone says something negative about my religion, I'm not going to straight up say, oh, you're wrong. I'm going to say, well, actually, have you considered this? Or like, I did this once with someone at my school. They were looking for an argument, so they were going on and on and on, and I was sat there and I was like, okay, go on, carry on. And they were going on and on and on, and they were getting more frustrated at the fact that I wasn't answering back.
So not reacting.
Yeah, it's not reacting. But then I turned it around and I did emotional like hard on the person because they were like, oh yeah, I'm so scared of Muslims because you know this and this, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you scared of me? And they're like, oh no, not you. And I was like, yeah, but I'm a Muslim. So you have to sometimes kind of
you have to challenge them,
but without being aggressive, without being violent. Like it
so instead of reacting, then we've said, what else could we do to be more proactive in terms of changing that narrative?
5 Jewish kids there, 5 Hindu kids there, 5 Sikh kids over there, 5 Christians over there. Let's say one group was teen, one group was old, and one group was Muslim. So we've got all different races and religions, right, stood there. Now if you walked all them, if a group of people walked in with all those same races and religions, they'd all walk to their own, guaranteed. Most likely, I think so anyway, because the thought and upbringing that everybody is given, everybody, is that you're comfortable with your own.
In terms of how identity affects my way of life as a Muslim, as an activist, as a person involved in campaigns, it affects my way of life in the sense that for me Muslims are demonized and in the media or via government and policies and so on. And so because I have a baby but I identify me as a Muslim, obviously I pray, I identify myself with the faith, I believe in the Quran and the rest of it. And just holding those beliefs kind of affects me because I'm treated in a different sort of way in the media. Whereas if I wasn't a Muslim, then I wouldn't have certain labels attached to me. I wouldn't have certain derogatory statements attached to my background because I'm a Pakistani. Certain terms that identify with Pakistanis.
British value. It depends on this, because I'm mixing traditions with values. Okay. So for example, if we say an example of an average British person, say on Friday night, they might go out drinking, partying, then come back Saturday 5 o'clock in the morning home. So I don't know what that's a tradition more than a value. It can't be a value, right? It can't be a value. That's not a value. That.
For me personally, I don't think that my own identity affects the way that I live or the way that other people see me. But I do think as some of the discussions that came out were that outer appearance and kind of openly, like for example, wearing a headscarf, someone can identify that you are Muslim openly. So just looking at how that may affect someone's perception of you. But I think that it only really affects you if you let it. I think just being open to different people's opinions, perspectives, but not really letting it kind of hold you back from anything, just being aware of it, but open to kind of agree and disagree as well.
Do you feel young people's needs are being catered for, and what more could be offered to engage young Muslims with community life? So really have a think about the community and what would help young people to engage with the communities that they live in.
You know, the way to engage with younger people is through younger people. You know, you need to empower younger Muslims in the communities. You know, have role models within like Qari Asim, role models like that all across Leeds, all across the UK, all across the different areas where Muslims predominantly live in. Have those sort of the younger Muslims that have that connection. Younger leaders that have that connection with the Muslims. Maybe they've grown up here. Maybe they've had similar experiences and they connect on that level. So I mean, definitely that's a good way to sort of.
I think integration is good because it's an example of having mosques, synagogues and churches all in one city, for example in Leeds. But I think that some people can stay very close to that setting as well and maybe not branch out into others. So it is diverse, but I don't think it could be as integrated as it could be.
We need to start mixing more. We need to start trusting each other more, because I think diversity is a good thing. Having differences, we should learn from each other.
So this is interfaith, you're saying, with different religions?
Different religions, different races, even if you're from a different country, let's say. If there's any sort of difference between us regarding any of those things, automatically you start to feel a bit uncomfortable. I think so, because of the lack of knowledge you have around that person, in general anyway. Personally, I couldn't give a damn. If you're a good person, you're a good person, I like you. Couldn't give a damn about anything else. If you're a bad person, I don't want to know you. If I see something that I don't like, or this person is, let's say, not good with the elderly, I won't chat to that person no more. But most people, what I've realized, that have come in contact with me, these things do matter to them. So what your beliefs are, what is your religion, what is your background, I never ask those questions. All I need to know is that are you a good person or not.